So let's move on to Prop 126. This is one that I'm actually the chair of the No on Prop 126 committee. I hit the ground running after losing the primary because there's stuff we got to fix here in this state. This is one of the things that would be an utter disaster for our state revenues at every level. It portrays itself, and there's a $6 million ad campaign trying to get you to go along with their portrayal that this is simply protecting Arizona taxpayers against rapacious politicians who want to steal your money. Well, the truth is a little bit different. Let me tell you right up top, this is written by lobbyists for their protection of their connected insider clients, period. It will write tax loopholes into the Constitution so nothing can ever be done to get rid of them. As you've heard, if you heard me speak of the campaign trail, you know I keep talking about that there are $13.7 billion a year minimum that we give away in corporate sales tax loopholes. This would make a bunch of them permanent. Permanent. So nobody can ever get rid of them. Now, the fact is, there's nobody anywhere talking about taxing medical care. There's nobody talking about taxing veterinary care. There's nobody talking about child care. They're throwing these up there just to protect the ability of doing actual real tax reform to get rid of some of the other loopholes that they really want to protect. But let me tell you what will happen if Prop 126 passes. In 2021 and every year thereafter, we will lose $250 million a year from K-12 public schools. Can we afford another $250 million a year taken out of our schools after all the cuts they have withdrawn from this majority? No, we can't. In addition to that, our RTA process in creating transportation systems here in Pima County was something that passed in 2006 that has done a whole lot of great work in order to make it easier to get around, create jobs, make a better economy. It's going to be renewed at some point. Once it gets renewed, if 126 passes, it will bring in 40% less money than it would otherwise. Because there are currently services that are taxed and are part of our sales tax base. Prime contracting, restaurants, transient lodging, communications, utilities. They're a large percentage of our tax base. Any tax that is renewed after this goes into effect, which includes Prop 301, that's our 0.6 cent sales tax for public education, would fall into the effects of 126, and all those currently taxed services would no longer be taxed. And it'd be in the Constitution. So there's nothing we can do about it. The fact is, it's tough enough to increase revenues and raise taxes in this state. It's a 2/3 majority we need in both the House and the Senate and the governor's signature. That's tough to do. But we got it done this year when we extended Prop 301 because public education is important enough and because there were a lot of Republicans scared of red for ed this year, frankly. And we got it done. But that will be all for naught, and we'll lose $250 million a year from that if Prop 126 passes. The fact is, realtors say they're behind this. Realtors wrote this, but only their lobbyists at the top, because you talk to realtors on the ground, they will tell you what they need to sell their product are good roads, good police and fire, good schools. Those are things that we will not be able to pay for if this passes, because this applies at every level of government, city, county, and state. What we need is to be able to have true tax reform in which we can lower the overall tax rates for our sales taxes, close some of these loopholes, and get more money to invest in our public education system. And that's something which there is actually bipartisan support for. I am thrilled that in the coalition I've created, I have at the table every day, not just our public sector unions like AFSCME, I got Koch brothers organizations like the Americans for Prosperity. They're also against it because they want to be able to broaden the base and lower the tax rate. They're pushing for lower taxes. The service unions would like to have more revenues to be able to pay their people and actually give us the services we need. Our police and fire are against this because police and fire require money to be able to protect us. So I've got people on all sides of the political spectrum against this. Steve Christie and Jonathan Rothschild are against it. Doug Ducey and David Garcia are against it. You don't find this anywhere these days. It's supposed to be the era of polarization.
And I'm on your side, I'm against it.
There we go. Everybody here today, this whole damn room is against it. So the problem is we got a $6 million campaign that's in favor of it. A lot of out-of-state money. A lot of and they're doing everything they can to be able to tie our hands. You got to tell all your friends. We have to vote no on 126. We can't withstand another $250 million cut to public education each year. This is really, really important. And we can win this thing. That $6 million they spent already, in polls I've seen, it isn't even cracking 48% yet. Now, a lot of people's eyes glaze over when they talk finances, but their eyes won't glaze over when you talk about cuts to schools, cuts to roads, cuts to police and fire. Let the message get out there. Make sure everybody knows. Spread it on social media. We got to let people know. This is a disaster for our state. They're trying to run it under the radar, but we have to vote no and oppose this thing. Thank you.